A consultant had to pay an income tax of $4,867 plus 15% of the amount by which her taxable income exceeded $32,450. Her tax bill was $12,386. What was the taxable income? Work to the nearest dollar. If word problems like that one have you scratching your head, have no fear. We're going to work on some strategies today to help you feel a lot more confident about solving word problems. So let's just jump right in. So the word problem is a consultant had to pay income taxes of $4,086 plus 15% of the amount by which her taxable income exceeded $32,450. Her tax bill was $12,386. What was the taxable income and work to the nearest dollar? Well, we'll start off with saying that most of the time when you work with money problems or money word problems, we work down into the cents, regardless of if we how many significant figures we have. Money is an exact thing, but this problem asks us to work the nearest dollar, so we'll definitely do that. So I'm starting to ask myself, what are things I don't know? And I don't know what the taxable income is, so I'll go ahead and write that down. What else? A consultant had to pay income taxes of plus 50%. And let's just define that as X. So definitely find out any unknowns that you have, and then we will define them. So I just defined this one as X. And then I think the best way to move forward is to start working on understanding this using some graphics. It always helps me, and so I assume it helps other people as well. So let's give that a shot. So we've got a whole pot of money out there, and that whole pot equals $12,386. And a consultant had to pay income taxes on $4,867, so that's about a third, I'm going to guess. So I'm just going to say down here, $4,867 is like just some base rate, it looks like. So that's where I got that from. And so the rest of this is going to be money that is that she made over, so $32,450. So up to this place right here is just the base rate. Once we make over $32,450, we start paying 15%. All right. So this money in here is going to be 15% of income. All right, so how does that help us with our problem? So I've got $12,386 of total taxes. I'm going to subtract off $4,867 of that. And that's going to tell me how much of that money was in this 15%, or how much of it was above $32,000. So I've got 12,386 minus 4,867. $7,519. All right. $7,519. So that also was an unknown. So I'm just going to call that Y. So the tax over our amount up here, 32,450, is going to equal Y. All right, so I think it's this number, the $7,519 in taxes is going to tell us how much income we made over 32,450. Some number, we'll call this Z for right now, some number times 15% is going to equal $7,519. And it's going to be that number plus 32,000. So I'm going to have Z plus 32,450 is going to be our taxable income X. So there's some amount of money between these two lines, and we're calling that Z. And that plus the 32,000 base rate is going to give us the total income. All right, so let's go back to this equation. How do we figure out this? Well, we know that if we take a number times 15%, we get this number. And so if we took that number and we divide it by 15%, we ought to get Z. So if we take Z times 15% to get this number, we should be able to take this number divided by 15% to get Z. All right, so $7,519 divided by 0.15 gives us $50,126, and we'll round up to 127. $50,127. Now let's check and make sure that our formula worked. We assumed that 7,519 divided by 15% would give us Z. Let's make sure. Let's go to Z. We're going to use this equation. Z times 15%. So we're going to take our 50,000. We're going to multiply that times 0.15. Yep, we got original number back. So this equation was good, this equation was good, and so I have high confidence in this number. Now, we said that Z plus 32,450 should equal X, which is our original question. So let's give that a try. 50,127 plus 32,450 gives us so Z we said was 50,127 plus 32,450. That equals 82,577. All right, so our total income I think, is 82,577. So I purposely hadn't figured out what the answer to this was going to be ahead of time so you could see my thought process. And hopefully you caught a couple of things, and I solved pretty much everything the same way. I first look for unknowns. I try to define my unknowns. And then I try to visualize somehow. I like drawing pictures. Try to visualize the problem. So in all of this part, you're basically trying to understand the problem. And that sometimes is the hardest part. What are they actually asking me? So, and you may have heard me say this before, don't ever feel bad about going through this multiple times as you try to get to the bottom of what the question's asking you. So let's do one more. And again, I'll try to pick something I haven't done before so you see my thought process. All right, so here is our next problem. The labor costs of a certain project were $33,485 per day for 17 technicians and helpers. If each technician earned $210 a day and each helper earned $185 per day, how many helpers were employed on the project? All right, so what is it I don't know? I don't know how many helpers were on the project, so I'm going to just say H equal or helpers. I know I got 17 people total, so I'm just going to say technicians equal that. Let's take a look. So I'm going to have my helpers equals 17 minus my techs. What else do I know? I know my techs get $210 a day. And helpers get $185 a day. Okay, so 210 times my helpers plus, oops, wrong, I'm thinking this. 210 times my number of technicians and 185 times the number of helpers is going to equal 3345. So, I don't know, let's see. I got 3345 total. And someplace in there, I'm going to have some amount where the technician, T, their pay, plus my helper's pay equals 35 or $33,450. Well, there's a couple of routes I can go with this. I could go try to solve the equation, or I could just take a stab at some numbers and see if I can't get close. Let's just do the number stab thing. I've got 17 people total. Let's say I got 7 technicians, so I'm going to have 7 times $210, plus I'm going to have 10, so 10 plus 7 is 17, 10 times people at $185, And let's just see where that gets us. So 7 times 210 is 1,470. And 10 times 185 equals 1850. So 1850 plus 1470. Oh, I thought I'd guessed it right dead on. All right, so that equals 33. Boy, you think I'd remember to leave that calculator up there. 3320. Well, that's pretty close. So I'm just going to try 8 times 210 plus 9 times 185. If I wouldn't have been so close, I would have spread my numbers out a little bit, but since I'm pretty close, so 8 times 210 equals, okay, 1680. And 9 times 185 is 1665. We'll add those two together. 1665 plus 1680. And there we go. 3,345. And so our answer is 9 helpers. Oh, that should be how many? 9 helpers were employed on the project. Now, so let's play around with solving the equation up. So what we know is 210 times the number of technicians plus 185 times the number of helpers is going to give us $33,445. So I'm going to change this a little bit so I don't have two variables. I've got T and H up there now. So I've got $210 times, and the number of technicians is going to be 17 minus the number of helpers. So I've got 17 total, and if I knew what the number of helpers were, I could figure out how many technicians were, right? All right, so plus $185 times H. And all that's going to equal $33,445. All right. So let's go ahead and multiply this out. We're going to have 210 times 17. $3,570. So I'm going to multiply that and that, and I'm going to multiply that and H minus 210H plus 185H equals 3345. All right, let's combine some like terms here. I've got a 185H and a negative 210H. So 185 minus 210 is 25. So I've got 3570 minus 25 equals, sorry, that's 25H equals 3345. let's subtract 3570 from each side. I got 3345 minus 3570. That's negative 225. So negative 25h equals negative 225. We'll divide both sides by 25. I'll divide them by negative 25. This is going to give us h. And negative 225 divided by negative 25. It's subtracted. Okay, sorry. 225 negative divided by 25 negative equals 9. H equals 9. And that's the answer we came up by guesstimation. So either one of those ways works, but let's go back and take a look at strategy. So the first thing I try to do is figure out what don't I know and define that. So I found out, you know what, I don't know how many helpers are on the project. So I set that as H. I also figured out I didn't know how many technicians I had, which was T. And I did know that my helpers was going to have to equal 17 minus T. Although I didn't ever have to use that, I knew that had to be the case. I actually drew myself a little graphic that said that the total amount had to be a total amount up here was 3345, and I could figure that out by how many technicians I had times their pay and how many helpers I had times their pay. So that gave me an equation to work off of. Now I had two variables up here and I didn't want to use the T, so I kind of just moved around the equation I had here. So for T, I just said it equals 17 minus H. And that way I was able to keep one variable, and it's much easier to solve for just one variable. And that's the formula that we worked through. We worked through solving for that one variable. Anyway, either one of those methods work. We can go back and test it and make sure that we came up right. So we know that our helpers equals 9 and that our technicians have to equal the rest, which is going to be 8 because there's 17 total. And we can multiply this out. I think we did that already when we did the guesstimation. Anyway, I hope you find that somewhat helpful. Try to employ a strategy. And like I've said before, the hardest part is understanding what they are asking you for. Sometimes it may take you multiple times through the problem to understand exactly what you're dealing with. So feel comfortable with that you're just going to pick out a few little pieces of information and put it together as you go through each time. All right, good luck. Have a great day.